Welcome, ladies and gents. Chris Andre here. You can find me at BetBoxing on Twitter, or of course you can subscribe to the channel. Let's talk boxing. Let's talk about Gennady Golovkin. The Lion might be old, but boy is he roaring. He just got a stoppage win against Ryota Murata in the 9th round. It was a terrific fight to see. It was a really entertaining fight, back and forth. It went exactly as I expected it to go from a stylistic perspective. I did expect Golovkin to win the fight on points rather than by knockout, just because I thought that Murata would be far too durable. This is a guy who's a lot bigger than Golovkin, naturally speaking. He's generally a big solid guy. You heard the commentary team say that in the past Murata had been to a doctor, had his head x-rayed, and they found that his skull was 1.5 times thicker than the average man. So you're punching through some dense bone right there, right, to try and rattle this guy. And early on, it was a barn burner of a fight. In the first round, you saw Golovkin come out and he was finding a home for that jab consistently. And as predicted in the preview, it would be a case of you go, I go. So when they weren't engaging in furious exchanges, it was Golovkin's jab that was finding the home, as you would expect, that thudding, powerful jab. And then when Murata would let go of combinations, Golovkin would cover up. Then Golovkin would respond and Murata would cover up. It was you go, I go, just like we said it would be in the preview. Golovkin was very good early on at catching shots on the forearms in that first round. In the second round, though, Murata started to find a consistent home to the body. He was throwing that left hook around the guard. He was also throwing that straight right hand to the solar plexus, both of which are typically his best shots. They're good shots that he throws. So maybe you could say that Golovkin wasn't particularly well prepared for that, because from a tactical perspective, because if you're getting caught with your other guy's best shots as early as the second round, maybe you haven't prepared for it particularly well, right? So from a tactical perspective, that's something they're going to potentially want to look at. He started to lower his hands by the third round, Golovkin, in order to meet that straight right hand to the body. Now, I just want to make the point, if you're going to be up against a guy like Canelo Alvarez, who likes to use misdirection by altering the trajectory of the shot mid-flight, he'll shape up as though he's going to go a hook to the body and then come upstairs. If you're going to lower your hands, that could leave you in serious trouble, right? This is the sort of thing that could seriously get you hurt against a guy like Canelo, and many guys have been hurt against Canelo based on that type of thing. So Canelo, I can imagine, wanting to target this body, and he would have taken a lot of more confidence from seeing this. You know, Golovkin, you could see he looked every bit his age by the third round. He looked 40 years old. The accuracy of the jab was still there, and he was still looking heavy-handed, of course, but his body looked a lot more vulnerable, and his feet were a lot slower, okay? And you could see, I started to feel that this was looking like Murata could potentially stop Golovkin here, okay? Golovkin really started to slow down. In the fourth round, though, I thought it was a brilliant round from Golovkin because it was very technical. He decided, you know what, I'm not going to have this war right now with Murata. What I'm going to do is get behind the jab. He wasn't moving back as quickly as he used to. You know, you heard Chris Algieri on the commentary commentating say that neither one of these guys has ever been a great back foot fighter. That's completely wrong. Sorry, Chris. But Golovkin was a top level back foot boxer. Elite level back foot boxer. This is precisely why he was able to control fighters with the jab. And now that he's lost his legs and he's moving around a lot more slowly and he's not maintaining that range like we spoke about in the preview, now you see the difference. Now you see how much more he's getting hit. So you know when people used to say, oh, Golovkin's got no defense, and I used to explain to people, you're wrong. He catches a lot of shots off of the forearms. He offers up the forehead, which he knows that hairline part of the forehead is the hardest part of the skull. He knows you're not going to hurt him there, so he can step into you and put you under pressure with range and offer you nothing but the forehead and covering up really well to the body and to the side of the head and to the chin. And if you try to jump at him and go after him, you'll see him develop that distance control, that brilliant jab to keep you off. And this is one of the great things about great fighters who are elite level jabbers. They are brilliant with their feet. Well, Golovkin, even when he's lost his legs and he can't move around a ring like he used to, he was still able, with the jab, to bust up the opponent, to offset him. Murata did some great work, but there was a lot of times when Murata was seeking to start attacks and Golovkin would pop out that jab and then rotate away and offset him. So even with the slowing down of the feet, from a technical perspective, for someone like me who looks at all the technical elements and loves this sort of stuff, there were wow moments there from Golovkin. But physically speaking, he's not what he used to be. His feet have slowed. He clearly can't absorb what he used to absorb to the body. But he did use that lovely jab and variation with the hook and uppercut to level things up in round 4. I thought it was 2-2 after 4 rounds. But it felt like he was working very hard to hang. And by the 5th round, again, I thought he put some really fluid, beautiful combinations together. They were a joy to behold, but that the pressure was so incessant from Murata. He wasn't allowing Golovkin to take any portions off in the round. And I just felt that maybe Golovkin's not going to be able to maintain this. I'm thinking he cannot maintain this tempo. But then Golovkin landed a massive shot in the 6th round. He landed a right hook, smashed the gum shield out of Murata's mouth. The referee stopped it for a moment. They washed the gum shield, put it back in Murata's mouth, but he did not seem to recover from that. He was a lot more tentative about going forward after that. And yeah, you'd see that he would still show that warrior spirit, Murata, and he's, like I said, he was engaging the body really well, really putting it on Golovkin, who was breathing heavily. He looked tired. But after that point, that was a turning point. From that point forth, using the jab, using the variations, the right hand was particularly successful for Golovkin today, but the uppercut, the left hook as well, he started to bust him up. And in the 7th round, make no mistake, right, Golovkin was feeling this tempo. There's no doubt about it. He was struggling in there. There was a physical pain in there for Golovkin, but he showed that warrior spirit. What a fighter, man. What a warrior. You know, when you take the context into account, this is one of his best career wins for me. He's up against a guy who has avenged the only 2 defeats he had by devastating knockout, an Olympic gold medalist, a guy who is a very, very difficult fighter to overcome, you know, physically dangerous and imposing. You're on his home territory, you're 40 years old, you're feeling the tempo, and you bite down on that gum shield and you decide that you're going to roar again as an old lion. The way things are right now, I don't believe he could beat Canelo Alvarez, to be honest with you. I just don't see it. But listen, stranger things have happened in boxing, right? Not many people gave Evander Holyfield a chance against Tyson. They thought that he'd looked a little bit washed prior to that and things like that. And listen, Chris Mannix dropped a lovely line in commentary, a great commentator's line, where he said he's not looking like the old Golovkin. He's not looking like an old Golovkin anymore. He's looking like the old Golovkin. Look, that's a great sound bite and stuff, and listen, he does some terrific stuff, and for me, he's the best middleweight of this generation. You guys are fully aware. I had him winning both fights against Canelo Alvarez. I felt as though he should, to all intents and purposes, be undefeated. The only fight for me that was a nip and tuck that could have gone either way was the Danny Jacobs fight. The other 2 against Canelo, I felt he won. He's won everything else that's been put in front of him, and I feel like he's a great fighter, an all-time great. But as I always say here, no man beats Father Time. Father Time is the only undefeated, undisputed. Let me know what you think, guys, about Golovkin's display today. Would you still be interested in seeing the Canelo fight? How would he have to approach that fight to win? For me, he has to go hell for the leather for the first, from the opening, basically. He has to turn it into a tear-up. He has to try and make it into a 6 or 7 round fight. Try and hurt Canelo as he hurt Murata today. If he can hurt Canelo early, you never know, right? But at this point of their careers, I just can't see it. Let me know what you think, everyone. Thanks for watching. Chat to you soon. Take care. God bless.